Hey, what's up everybody? Thank you for clicking on this video. Today I just want to share quickly a story that happened to me and my brother about 8 years ago. I don't think I've ever shared with anybody in detail what happened, but it was about the time that my brother and I were involved in a really bad car accident that almost killed us. And I'm gonna tie something that happened last month to this story because it all just ties in really well, and that's the reason why I kind of wanted to share it. I think it's such a cool story, but yeah, let's get into it. So in January 29th, 2016, I was married 2 years at this time. I was in my 20s, I was young, you know. I don't remember if it was like a Friday or a Saturday. I think it was a Friday. I decided to call up my brother and say, hey man, what are you doing? Let's go hang out. I ended up picking my brother up, and we had no plans. We were just kind of like, let's just go see what we want to go do. Anyway, we decided to go to Gates Pass, which is a popular place here in Tucson where people go hike, and there's a really nice lookout during the sunsets. So it was about sunset time, like 4:30 I would say, and we were on our way to Gates Pass when I decided to say, you know what man, let's just go to Star Pass, which is a resort, because he hadn't been to it and I wanted to show him. So then we ended up making a left turn on this road towards Star Pass. And this road is like, there's nobody there. There's no cars. It's just houses and like this road that winds through the mountains, and that's it. So there's no traffic lights, etc. So then as we were approaching the entrance to go to Star Pass, we reached this curb, and it kind of curved, and you couldn't really see what was on the other end of the curb. And we were driving towards it when all of a sudden we see this truck just going really fast, turn the corner around. And all of a sudden we were driving and we were like, what the heck, like this guy is crazy. All of a sudden this guy decides to go into our lane. And at this point my brother and I were like really shocked. We couldn't believe it. I tell this to people all the time. Your mind doesn't comprehend what is happening in the moment until it's too late, pretty much. So then this guy ends up hitting us head on. I had enough time to turn to the right, and I hit the corner of the driver's side, and I hit his corner of the driver's side, making us do a 180. So then my brother and I blacked out. I don't know how long. I woke up and I see my leg, and it's just bent. I had broken my femur. I couldn't even move my foot. I looked around to see if there was any blood. There was nothing. I looked at my brother, and he wasn't also in pain, but he had no blood, thankfully. And at this moment there was a lady that came up to my window. She's like, hey, I'm a nurse, like, are you okay? We just called the paramedics, they'll be here soon. And I just couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe what had happened. Firefighters show up. The firefighters had to cut me out of my door because my door was jammed from the impact. And my brother was getting help, on his side, and he had broken his femur. And later we found out that he had broke his knee, and also he broke his ankle. He got the worst of the accident. I just broke my femur. Then we went to the hospital. I have a video when they put my leg on traction, and that was like the most painful thing that I've ever experienced. You have a broken leg and they stretch it out so they could be straight. That was really painful. Yeah, we spent a few days in the hospital, and I had surgery to get a titanium rod on my leg. It still hurts sometimes, and I tell people that when it starts to kind of like get rainy and stuff, it does tickle, like my leg tickles, and it's a really weird feeling. My brother ended up getting 2 surgeries, and yeah, I mean, we went to court, we settled the case, and yeah, the guy was drunk and he was intoxicated beyond limit. My brother and I were just driving, it was just like a normal day, like I said. And yeah, man, it was a very traumatic experience for my marriage, for my family, for us, my brother and I. As I'm getting older, I start to reflect more and more about that day, and I'm very thankful to God because he saved me from that accident, and his hand was there protecting my brother and I. The other thing that I wanted to share is last month my wife at work, a parent told her that you can go to the fire station and get to meet the firefighters and get to go in the trucks and all that. And my daughter loves firefighters, and she loves trucks and the noise they make and all that. We ended up taking her to a fire station that's literally down the road from my house. As we went in, we did the touristy things, right? They showed us their equipment. They showed us the truck and all of the protocols that they have to follow and all of these things. And it was really cool. It was a really cool experience. And I also got to try on a suit and all that. But then I shared about my accident with one of the firefighters, and I'm like, hey man, I was in an accident and you guys used the jaws of life, the big scissors, to cut me out of the car. He's like, really? He's like, yeah. I was like, it happened about 8 years ago, and I was in a Honda Civic and I got hit head on. And then he kind of pieced it together. He's like, was it a black truck? And I was like, yes. Was it in Gates Pass, like near Gates Pass? And I was like, yes. He's like, hey man, I was the one that cut you out of the car. And I just couldn't believe it, because the firefighter that was at the car scene 8 years ago remember what the scene and what had happened. And he was there, and I gave him a big hug, and I was like, hey man, thank you so much. Thank you so much for doing that for me. And it was kind of emotional. I took a picture with him, and I'm just so thankful to still be here and be with family. And every day I wake up with gratitude. And even though sometimes we have bad days, ultimately life is good. And if we are still here and we are still living and breathing, we should be very, very thankful, because it was like any other day. There was nothing about that day that was different. So we don't know when it's gonna be our last day. Every day that I live, my brother and I live, it's like a gift. Well, thank you guys for staying all the way to the end, and thank you guys for listening to my story, and maybe you got something out of it. I just want to get better at telling stories, and also I'm trying to get better at making videos. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. All right, peace out.